Baik, Ibu semua, apakah em, di layar sudah terlihat video saya?
Sudah.
Sudah ya, baik. Baik, saya izin memutarkan videonya dan Ibu mohon maaf Ibu Agnes dan Ibu yang lain. Ini video saya lebih dari 10 menit, mohon maaf sekali karena memang untuk dimampatkan menjadi 10 menit ini susah sekali. Nyuwun pangapunten, mohon maaf Ibu. Saya putarkan sekarang, J.
Baik.
Sapta Ningsih, or just call me Sapta, a teaching staff at English Diploma Program, Vocational School, Universitas 11 Maret or UNS Surakarta, and I'm also a doctoral candidate at Linguistic Study Program of UNS. Here, I'm representing my team, which consists of I myself, Sapta, Prof. Nababan, Prof. Yadi Santosa, and Prof. Jatmikal, to present our article entitled From Japanese to Indonesian, Explicitation in Translating Math-Loaded Children's Stories. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today, the government of Indonesia is actively promoting the culture of literacy among children through Gerakan Literasi Nasional or National Literacy Movement. And one of the ways to achieve this goal is by providing children stories in regional languages such as Japanese, Sundanese, Jambi language, Kalimantan language, and other language in Indonesia. The stories are then translated into Indonesian so that children across the archipelago can enjoy the stories. Nah, this means that through this effort, children's stories which are rich in cultural values and local knowledge are accessible to a wider audience across the country. And this effort is commonly made by the provincial language centers or offices. The stories provided here incorporate the STEAM approach, which consists of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Here we can see that one of the STEM approach consists of math. Nah, the integration of math introduces the local values and enhances educational experience by introducing young readers to mathematical concepts in a fun and also engaging way that children like. Nah, in this context, the Language Center of East Java Province, or we call it Balai Bahasa Provinsi Jawa Timur, has provided various children's stories in Japanese and Indonesian translation. And one of the story is Pandu Biso Blonjo. This story is written in Japanese and translated into Indonesian by Lutfi Fadila. Well, translating math-loaded children's stories from Japanese to Indonesian is, of course, important. Why? This is because it can help children through the country access the stories with local content and also STEAM-based math education. However, this effort is challenging, of course. Yeah. Why? Because the translator needs to adapt the values, the language, the math concepts without losing the message. The mathematical concepts embedded in these stories, also must be presented in a particular way to produce an appropriate and also understandable story for young learners. That is why adjustment here is required to make the stories acceptable and digestible to children. One of the adjustment that can be used is by applying explicitation technique proposed by Molina and Albier in 2002. What is explicitation technique? Yeah, explicitation technique is applied by adding information or making information that is previously implicit into explicit one. Nah, the explicit information here is provided by considering the context of the story. All right. And this is a descriptive and qualitative study. And the research data included all explicitation cases identified, meaning that the data were taken using total sampling, and all explicitation cases were used as the research data here. And now, After that, the goals or the purposes of explicitation were identified, and finally, the impacts of explicitation on translation quality, which consists of accuracy, acceptability, and readability, were identified or measured. All right, ladies and gentlemen, based on the data analysis, we found that explicitation technique was applied to translate two types of information. The first one is math-loaded information, and the second one is non-math-loaded information. The application of explicitation in translating math-loaded information can be seen from the following example. Tempe waras 3.000, duite ono ing meja. In this context, Pandu is asked to buy fresh tempe which costs 3,000 rupiah. And Kak Ria put the money on the dining table so that Pandu can take it. Now, here, explicitation was applied when translating 3,000, which is the price of the tempe. Yeah. Okay. In the translation, berharga is added to the price, and the currency symbol of rupiah is also added. Now, these are the forms of explicitation. The next one, the application of explicitation in translating non-math information is evidenced in the following example. Durung jam 12 awan, Pandu wis kena luwe, wis krasa luwe. Pandu kepengin sego tumpang. The sentences mean it is not yet noon, but Pandu is already hungry. He wants to eat tumpang rice. Nah, in the Japanese version, the reversive relationship is implicit. However, in the translation, padahal, which means even though, is made explicit to make it more understandable to the children. Explicitation also happens here, yeah, in the second sentence. In the Japanese version, we can see that Pandu kepengin sego tumpang, which means Pandu wants tumpang rice. In the translation, makan, which means eat, is added here. Yeah, so it becomes Pandu wants to eat tumpang rice. Our analysis also figured out that the explicitation technique is applied for various purposes, such as improving message clarity, improving language naturalness, improving both clarity and naturalness, and neutral. For a clear image about these purposes, let's take a look at the following explanation. Explicitation to improve message clarity is identified in the example below. Sambal tumpangnya wis mateng. Wayahe Pandu madang. In this context, the tumpang sambal is ready. It's time for Pandu to eat. The Japanese version, the person who makes the sambal is not mentioned, while in the Indonesian version, Kak Ria, who is the one who makes the tumpang sambal, is made explicit to make it clearer to the readers. Yeah, and moreover, in the source text, it is only mentioned madang, which means eat. In the target text, siang is added to makan, yeah, to madang, to make it clearer that it is lunch, not dinner or even breakfast. Meanwhile, explicitation to improve naturalness is depicted in the next example. Pandu bali warung bayari kurang 4.000. This sentence means Pandu gets back, which in this context gets back to the stall, paying the remaining 4,000. In the translation, information added is ke, yeah. Ke is added. Ke means to, so that the translation becomes kembali ke warung or gets back to the stall. Information done, which means and is also added, yeah. Done means add, yeah, is also added to make chronological events more naturally narrated here. And moreover, sebesar and rupiah are also added to make the sentences more natural and proper in language rules, Indonesian language rules. Explicitation is also applied to make translation both clear and natural. We can see that in the following example. Wetenge wis luwe tenan, ora sadar ono duit sing ketinggalan. The sentences mean he is so hungry. He is not aware the money is left. Here, there is a cause-effect relationship, but the relationship here is implied. In the translation, the relationship is made explicit and natural by adding sampai-sampai, which means even. And the full sentence can mean, he is so hungry, even he is not aware that the money is left. Meanwhile, the neutral explicitation is identified the example Pandu kaget duit Sintigowo tibae mung 6.000. The sentences mean Pandu is startled. The money he brings is only 6,000. In the translation, there is an explicitation of sejumlah, yeah, which means amounting to, yeah. This is neutral because the presence of amounting to does not make the translation clearer or natural or more natural, yeah. I mean, the sentence, the money he brings is only 6,000 is already natural and it's already clear. Yeah, so explicitation is not really important in this case. Now, the last finding is that explicitation technique contributes to accurate and acceptable translation. This is supported by the results of the analysis that all units that are made explicit make the translation accurate. Moreover, most explicitation also makes translation acceptable. Let's take a look at the example. Pandu cepat-cepat melayu mulih, arep njupuk kurangi. This sentence means Pandu runs home quickly to check the remaining. In the translation, this sentence is made into two sentences. Pandu bergegas lari pulang, which means Pandu runs home quickly, and dia mau mengambil uang yang kurang, which means he wants to take the remaining money. Here, there is an explicitation of dia, which makes the sentence proper because a sentence should consist at least a subject and a predicate. There is also here an explicitation of money that makes the message clearer. Both explicitations that have here, yeah, both explicitation here have accurate messages. And the sentences are also more digestible to readers because the information loaded in each sentence is easy to understand. Although explicitation is proven to contribute to translation accuracy and acceptability, a minor currency symbol typographical error, writings that do not conform to Indonesian language conventions, and inappropriate collocation led to reduced acceptability. Indeed, yeah. The phenomena can be seen in the examples below. Setelah dihitung, semua belanja Pandu berjumlah Rp10.000. Here, Pandu berjumlah is written without a space. Also, there is a period after rupiah. It should be written without a space and without a period. And also, the sentence must also be ended with a period to be called as a sentence. Nah, in the second example, tempe segar berharga Rp3.000. The word berharga is not commonly used ya in Indonesian context ya. The more neutral sentence is tempe segar harganya Rp3.000. We need to know that the use of berharga is like the use of priceless or valuable. All right, based on the information that I provided, yeah, this study concludes that explicitation in translating Pandu Bisa Blonjo significantly enhances accuracy and naturalness. Yeah. However, the typographical error, improper writing or punctuation, and unsuitable collocation underscore the importance of meticulous editing to achieve full acceptability. And after that, this study also concludes that with higher readability, explicitation is considered successful in bridging the needs of readers who are children aged 7 to 9 years or at B2 level. Yeah. Okay, here are the references that I use, and we will improve the references once the article is published. And that's all my presentation. We do hope that our study contributes to the studies of children literature translation. See you!